What podcast reviewer 37 describes as an indiscriminate hellish ride that I would not wish on my worst enemy. The industry's elite have said time and again, man, fuck those guys. Get ready, if your ears had butts, they'd about to be fucked. Welcome to the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show.
Man, this is such a good theme song. Even though it actually, well, I mean, it's not on any Millennial Frog album, but it was technically, you know, kind of created by Millennial Frog, I guess, before he was cool. This is the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show episode. I don't fucking know because we stopped fucking counting, but it's going to be called Merit versus Nepotism. That's going to kind of be the, you know, central theme. And then obviously it's the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. So we're going to go on to fucking tangents and talk about all kinds of other random shit while we're at it.
Yeah, it might involve some things about the State of the Union address for this company.
Oh, yeah, true. And one or both of us may be committing seppuku on this episode. I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. But if you want to fucking know other podcasts where we didn't commit seppuku and you enjoy hearing us talk about this nonsense, we have tons of other podcasts that have specific topics such as All Gas No Trash with music, the Anime Syndicate, that's self-explanatory, Central Unintelligence Podcast with geopolitics, current events, Chirpin' from the Pine, the Game Rage Sports Podcast. We have Game Rage Movies and TV, Game Rage Wrestling, talking about professional wrestling, Panel to Panel is all about comics, Team Killing Glitchtards is a video game podcast, and we have our greatest podcast ever in the history of the Game Rage magazine, Without Censor, the Game Rage Interview Podcast. Multiple banger of interviews on there that you can hear. And do yourself a favor and check them out at GameRageMagazine.com.
I know this doesn't have anything to do with what we're going to talk about, but since this is the BFN show, which is about, I guess, the meta podcast that talks about podcasting, all the podcasting that we do, plus our own personal lives and such, and then everything else in between. But I think you might be right about the Cody Rhodes thing.
Oh, buddy, you think I might be right.
I'm already not down for this championship. I'm over it.
Oh, man, I'm so happy that I now have a Cody hater on the team as well. I mean, if you wanted to hear my whole rant, you can listen to the last episode of Game Rage Wrestling, which was, I believe, titled Backlash, Cody Rhodes Gets Exposed. And I went on a whole fucking a tirade about how I hate Cody Rhodes now, and he's a piece of shit, and he's a terrible wrestler. And it was essentially more about, well, go listen to the episode. Give us a nice little boost. Go listen to it, and you'll hear all my opinions, and you'll find out why maybe Adam is on my side.
Yeah. So I just felt like throwing that 2 cents in. So, and an interesting new. I'm sure this is going to be probably reiterated on wrestling, but USA is now going to be the exclusive home for SmackDown and Raw come September, I believe. The rest of 2024 from September onwards till 2025, they'll be the exclusive home. I wonder what that deal is, because it's got to be pretty sweet for USA.
Yeah, I think it was $25 million is what I read, or some sort of multitude of millions of dollars for them to have it on from September to January.
Oh.
And then I don't know what's going to happen with SmackDown. I don't know if they're going to sign that deal with Netflix like they did with Raw. Because I think, the SmackDown deal's up in September or whatever. And so is the Raw deal was up, and then they were like, well, shit, what are we going to do? So I don't know.
Yeah, they're all,
Now everything's going to be on USA.
Yeah, for the rest of 2024 come
September,
I believe. Yeah. So that is rather.
It's rather interesting.
Yeah. So, but anyways, besides the point, but it is the Butt Fuck Nowhere show, so I can say whatever the fuck I want.
Indeed. There is no one going to tell you can't talk about shit on this podcast because there is no topic. You can talk about whatever the fuck you want. Hell, even if we have another podcast, you can fucking talk about shit on here that it exists.
All right. So I know we haven't done this before, but.
Oh, all right.
How's shit going with you?
How's shit going with me? Well, it was going fucking terrible. You know, I will say this. Last week, personally, very shitty week. the car fucking situation breaking down, then them basically butt fucking me around for fucking 3 days and well, yeah, it'll be ready on Wednesday. Cool. Call them Wednesday. What do they say? Yeah, we didn't get the part in. And I knew that was going to happen, okay? Because I'm like, there's no fucking way they're going to get this. If they didn't have it in stock, there's no way they're getting it in 2 days and they're going to have the car done. No fucking way. I totally was accepting of that. But when I call them at 3 p.m. and they say, oh, your service advisor's at lunch. And I say, okay, well, first of all, it's 3 p.m. And listen, I worked in the car industry before. Everybody goes to lunch at like 11 a.m. They go from 10 a.m. Managers go from like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and everybody else goes from like 11 to 1, right? That's kind of like how it works. So yeah, you're not at lunch at 3 p.m. And so then I asked the guy, I says, okay, well, tell me what it is that it says on the thing. Did the part come in? I don't need to talk to the service advisor. You can tell me. So he says, oh yeah, let me look up. So he looks up and he says, oh yeah, you know what? You're gonna have to wait till the service advisor gets back. And when he said that, that's when I knew, because that's the push off of, oh, well, I'm not allowed to tell you anything. I know that's a lie, but I knew that the news was bad, because if it was good news, he would have been like, oh yeah, it's done. You can come pick it up now. But he didn't want to risk me bitching at him or yelling at him. Right. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna have to have your service advisor tell you. So I knew it was already bad. So I'm like, come on, man, you already read it. You see what it says. Just tell me so I don't gotta fucking call back. Like, because I told him, I'm like, listen, man, I'm gonna be honest. If it's not ready today, that's fine. But like, I'm gonna need to get a rental car from you guys. I'm just gonna need to get one. This is not an option. So he's like, yeah, you're just gonna have to wait until she calls back. I'm like, God damn it, fine. So whatever. This lady calls me back like an hour and a half later, right before they close. She calls me at like 4:59, and I'm just like, okay, what's up? And I know she was hoping I didn't answer, because I answered on like the first ring, and I was like, hello, and there was nobody there. I was like, hello, and then hey, Josh. Yeah, okay, give me the bad news. And she's like, whoa, the bad. What do you mean? And I was, listen, I already know it's bad news. Just tell me what it is so we can get this over with. Oh yeah, the part didn't come in today. So it'll definitely be here tomorrow on Thursday. All right, great.
Oh, Josh.
Yeah.
Your car part did not arrive, and the Undertaker has challenged you to a Hell in a Cell match.
If you want to get your part, you must get it from the Undertaker, and you will have a backstage boiler match, and it'll be for the WWF Championship.
Now, hold on a minute, playa. I don't know what you're talking about right now, but what's going to happen tonight is you're going to go one-on-one with the Undertaker.
Holla, holla, holla.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, whatever. Thursday comes along. It's like 3 p.m. again. I haven't heard anything, because they told me, oh yeah, it's coming in the morning. It'll be done first thing in the morning. Cool. Oh, it's 3 p.m. I haven't heard shit. I just woke up. So I'm like, all right, I better fucking give him a phone call and see what's going down. Call him up. Fucking, of course, it's a different lady. And she's like, oh yeah, your service advisor is not here. And I'm like, okay, well, can you just tell me what's up? And she's like, well, it looks like it didn't come in today. And I'm like, all right, well, can you just tell me when it's going to come in? Okay, let me call the parts people. So then she calls them. And then she says, oh, you know what? It actually did come in. It came in just now. Oh, how convenient. It came in just now. Okay, well, I know it's not going to get done, because it's like almost fucking, it's going to be 5 in like an hour. So I know you ain't going to fucking do it. So what's the deal? Okay, it's for sure going to get done tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, again, totally understandable. But seriously, I don't need you to bullshit me, because I'm not going to be mad. I just need to make decisions. And that's part of the reason I think why they don't want to tell you shit, is because they don't want you to yell at them and they don't want to deal with it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the under promise and over deliver. They're constantly lying to you so they don't disappoint you.
Right. And listen, I get that. I totally get that. But when I tell you up front, hey, listen, I'm not going to be mad. I don't care. I need to actually make decisions. So if it's really not going to be ready tomorrow, because honestly, I could have used the rental car on Thursday. So if they would have told me, hey, it's not going to be ready until Friday, I would have said, cool, I'm gonna come in tonight, pick up this rental car so I can, be it, and I'll return it on Friday when you guys give me the car back. But instead, because they kept lying to me and bullshitting me, I get it. That's part of the incentive of them to not give me the rental car for free, because they don't have to eat the cost. But it just would have been nice just to be able to make decisions. So I'm like, listen, for real, if it's not going to be done tomorrow morning, I need a rental car. Oh no, it's going to for sure be done. All right, fine. So sure enough, Friday afternoon rolls around, and I had to call them, and they were like, oh yeah, it's done. Okay, cool. Thanks guys for fucking giving me the heads up. I could have used this in the morning, but whatever. Got it taken care of. Cool. The other thing that I fucking did wrong last week was that I fucking reported the numbers. All right.
Yeah, man. You gypped us.
I did, man. I fucked us so hard, man.
The Papa Steiner, dude. The numbers don't lie, and they actually did lie.
No, the numbers didn't lie. I lied, all right? I lied. The numbers were right. I'm just an idiot and don't know how to do math. Well, it's not that I don't know how to do math. I just looked at the wrong number from the previous month. So the previous month I had the number, but I didn't update the total number until later on. And so I had the earlier number from like the week before, and it was like 200 less than what it was. So basically, instead of being, I was so excited that I was like, shit, man, the first week of the month, we did 500 fucking downloads. Wrong. Wrong. Granted, the number wasn't bad. It was 311. So instead of being 505, it was 311. So it was only 100 and some change off. But that's still pretty fucking good because we were like, holy shit, we're halfway to fucking 1,000 because that's our next Game Rage goal is to hit 1,000 downloads in a month. And we were like, fuck yeah, we're halfway to 1,000 and it's only been a week. And today, 4 days later, I was like, hey guys, or no, it was last night. So it was like 2.5 days later. I was like, oh, hey guys, just a FYI, I seem to have miscalculated the numbers and we didn't actually get 500 in the first week. We only got 311. All right, I'm going to go commit seppuku. Thanks, bye. And that was pretty much it. And I was so pissed. Granted, that's still a great fucking week because our average prior to last month was basically 400. So we basically hit that in the first week almost. And now we're over that here 3.5 days when I looked at it. Halfway into week number 2, we've eclipsed what basically the average is. So the rest of this week, for week 2, we're definitely going to eclipse what our highest month prior to the 900 was, which is 455. We're going to hopefully be in this second week around 500.
Oh my god, dude, it's gonna be a photo finish.
It is gonna be a photo finish. Now, granted, 311 times the 4 weeks, well, that's over 1,200. So theoretically, if we maintain 300 a week, we'll hit the 1,200. But we're likely not gonna hit 1,000 until week 3. And luckily for us, the way the weeks fell, the 4th week has 2 extra days, and that's gonna actually give us more numbers because there's a Thursday and a Friday. And now that we're not waiting and putting shit out, we're putting it out as soon as we finish recording it. That's going to give us an extra potential 100 downloads first day. If we record 3 things and we get 20 to 30 downloads a piece, we're looking at, 60 to, we're looking at some good numbers. Also, we have a new podcast coming out this month. Mm-hmm. No Party Preference. That's going to be a 5-episode drop with the way that Chirping from the Pine went. And it dropped 5, and we got 36 downloads or 37 downloads so far in this first month. And it's only been out for like a week and a half, so who knows what that number is going to be total at the end of the month. But I'm hoping for an initial boost of at least 35 for that podcast. So shit, I think we could do it. I think we could hit 1,000 this month. And if we don't, I am going to kill myself. I'm being honest. I am going to kill myself. This will all be over. I'll just kill myself and I'll light the garage on fire with all the equipment in it, and I will just be done if we don't hit 1,000. So
stakes have been raised.
So if you'd like to see me alive at the end of into June 1st, then you should fucking definitely tell all your friends to listen so we get 1,000.
If you'd like to see the 3rd case of self-immolation this year.
That's true. If you do want to see that, then tell everybody not to listen, and then I'll live stream it.
Yeah.
And that'll be the irony, is we'll get 1,000 downloads after I kill myself.
You're fucking dead.
Damn. That's horrible. So yeah, so fucking bullshit, man. But still good. It's a negative. And then, like I said, I did think about just lying to you guys and just covering it up and not saying that I did that. But again, that would go against the spirit of open transparency and honesty. And I also did think about the true negative was, let's say like I kept it a lie and then we only got like another 100 downloads or we got only 100 more. So we got like 600 total for the month. And then you'd be like, oh shit, we got 500 in the first week and we only got 100 for the whole other rest of the month. God, kill ourselves.
Man, makes me want to throw my 10-gallon fucking 10-gallon hat. Oh hell, we only got 900 downloads again this month.
And listen, I want to get to 1,000.
I want to get to 1,000 too. I think it's I think it'll be a pivotal milestone.
Yeah.
To feel better about myself.
True. And I will be disappointed if we don't get 1,000, but I'll still be happy if we get 905. If we hit 905 this month, I'll still be happy. And I will say, I am starting to believe now that the wrestling that 120 downloads was a fluke, because we didn't get anywhere near that. We went back down to the average. Hell, the 45 new subscribers that we got, I'm thinking that was probably the real number of downloads that we got for the episode. Because as I'm looking at it, and I don't know if this is something maybe people were listening through a VPN or something like that, but it's like some weird ass Tuscaloosa or some weird ass fucking city that had 100 of the downloads basically is where they came through. And there ain't no fucking way. So I don't know if it's like where maybe somebody's where all these people were listening through a VPN, and then that's just where, because it gives a random point that it picks. So that could have been the reason. But granted, seeing that we got about half of that in new subscribers of 45 makes me think that that's probably really the real number of 45. So this month we are not going to have that. So I don't think we're going to have an episode fucking do 100 like that, at least not from one singular location.
So then the real number is 800 something. So if we get to 900, then
we know we're still doing good, because if we beat 904 and we don't have an episode like that, then we know that, okay, like there's no fluke here in the total numbers. Sure, that one episode was a fluke, but this total of episodes that we've done this month, hitting that goal will be, oh man, it's real. Like we really are able to put together this many downloads in a month. So fuck, man, I don't know. I'm itching. Like, and I hate being a numbers whore, because it's really hard for me not to fucking check the numbers every 10 minutes, because that's the only measure of success that we have right now, right? Because it's not monetary at this point. It's just in the number of downloads that we get. We get no satisfaction off of social media. We are definitely not silent about the fact that we hate social media, because we get no followers from this. We get a lot of views. I think our views are doing great. The likes are doing great. But cocksuckers just don't follow us. And I don't know what the reason for that is. And quite frankly, at this point, I don't care. It's irrelevant, because the fact of the matter is they're just not doing it. But I think it is translating into downloads for the podcast. I do think that that's something that we can see. So it sucks to still have to do social media, but I do think that, like, last week we fucked off on social media, right? And you can if going into this week we don't get our numbers are lower than, let's say, like the week before, I think then we can say there's at least a correlation potentially, because now coming into next week we're going to be back on, or I guess it's this week now because it's Monday today. So going into this week we're going to be back on top of the social media and doing our normal shit posting on social media. So if the numbers spike higher than what it was, then we'll know. Then we'll know if social media actually makes a difference, because we'll have quantifiable evidence. And honestly, I kind of think this is good that the way this worked out, because now we get to test. We get to do an actual test and see if social media really is as important as it's claimed to be. Because if the social media isn't equating to any follows or whatever, and it's not even equating to any fucking listens, then why even bother doing social media? Yes, I know it's something that you just have to do, but if we have a quantifiable thing saying, hey, well, social media is not doing shit for us, so not that I'm saying we need to stop doing social media, but hell, maybe we need to make sure that we actually don't spend any advertising money on social media, because it's not doing shit regardless. So I don't know. Interesting thing to point out. But since this is the Butt Fuck Nowhere show, I figured this was the place to talk about it.
I wonder if that's going to end up having a butterfly effect on what you did. Deciding whether or not to share those numbers, or what the true number was. Because hearing that ended up motivating me more to get to 1,000.
Yeah, I really think it did. I think it did. And now I'm honestly thinking that the stick is better than the carrot. So, like, in terms of motivating us to do more shit, I feel like now I need to lie and underreport the numbers just to get us.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
because Frank was pissed too. He was just like, fuck, like, God. He's like, hey, because last week there was some shit that happened last week. So he and I could only do this last week. So we could only do 2 episodes. We didn't get to do an episode of A Slice of Dice because of some shit that happened. So we were just like, cool, whatever. We still put out the product, but we just couldn't do the new one, the main one that we want to get like off the ground. So he was like, fuck, this week we're definitely doing a slice of dice and we're fucking gonna kill it. I even brought him the book so he could we've already 2 episodes in, we've already figured out how to make it better. Like we noticed that the last episode was his first playthrough, and we noticed, okay, him having to come up with the enemies and roll their stats and shit was it was eating up some time, and I was just bullshitting us, so there wasn't a lot of silence. But he's like, no, man, fuck that. I need to pre-do these. I need to pre-roll these characters, and I need to go through the book, and I can tell how long it's going to take, and I'm just going to pre-roll everything. So then that way, all I got to do is just roll the initiatives, and that's it. And we're going to this new Roll20 system, which he's going to put in money to buy. And it's going to be fucking great because everything's all on there, and it's going to allow us to do the video component. And he says it's just perfect because he won't have to do any of that shit. It does it all immediately right there. It rolls all their stats. It rolls everything. The second you get into combat, it rolls everything. And it even rolls all of our initiatives and everything. And it just inputs it. And we just get to decide what we want to do. And it's fucking great. So it's going to make the episodes like faster. We're already becoming more efficient. It's fucking cool as fuck to see that, man. Like already, it's not even out yet. And we're gaining efficiency. And it's fucking cool. So positive note there.
Yeah, I think failure is a great. I don't know if failure is the right word. Progress is probably more appropriate.
Yeah.
As we're doing things, we're figuring out what the solutions are on the fly. Because you could plan for everything to be you could plan everything to be a certain way, and then once you do it, you realize that there's probably a better way to do it. And being ballsy enough to realize that there is a solution to be had that you could solve.
And there's sorry, I mean, there's an old like sports saying, and I know they didn't invent it. I don't know who did, but it's on Shoresy a lot. And he basically, there's like a whole episode where that's one of the things I hate about Shoresy is they repeat the same fucking line over and over again every fucking episode. And it's like the theme of the episode. But with this one, it is true. It's you can't just love to win. You have to hate to lose. Like that's not you can't give me a bunch of guys that love to win because it's not enough. I need guys that hate fucking losing so bad. And I think we hate losing so fucking bad that that's much better of a motivator than just loving the fact of the feeling of winning.
Yeah, at this point, it's I think the killer instinct has been embedded over the last 10 or 11 months that, all right, fuck. Well, maybe 500 wasn't the real number, but we are set back to, and not to say that 300 is bad or anything, but shit, man, we better cross that finish line by the end of May.
I'm telling you, man, we better. Well, shit, if you look at March was our lowest month, we had 345 new downloads. That was our lowest month. And shit, we've eclipsed that. Or almost, we basically hit that, and we've gone over it in the first week and a half of this month. So already that's a positive movement forward. We're way over our fucking. We're almost to the highest prior to the 900 a week and a half in, and we're at like 420 something right now. A week and 3 days in when I looked at it, 3.5 days ish. So tonight when we put this out, the next these 2 episodes that are going to go up, they're going to count for at least 2 of them, or 2 days or 2.5 days, because I go until basically Wednesday at midnight is when I cut the week, because Wednesday was the first for May. So that's how I'm doing it. I'm just going to go Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. That midnight is the cutoff for the week. So we're going to have 2 days of these numbers. So I think we're probably going to get to 500 in the 2 weeks for sure. And then that's going to really need us to the last 2 weeks. And luckily, like I said, that last week of May, we have an extra 2 days. That's going to be the fucking make or the break, man. Because if we get to 500 in the 2 weeks, that means we're on track for 1,000.
Yeah, but
it's close. It's going to be close.
Yeah. And then, okay, I don't know how this is going to work because, well, we have the one additional new podcast,
No Party Preference.
Yeah, that one. And that one's starting from basically scratch.
Right. It's going to be negligible the help it's going to get us. But
yeah, so I don't want to say it's how do I word it? Since we put time into that, been taking time away from things that have already been established. So that means
Right.
less episodes of everything else.
Yeah, because we've basically are going to have done 5 episodes that we could have, because we started doing that this month. I mean, literally, we've already done 3 episodes in the first basically 2 weeks of the month. And we're going to have 5 episodes by the end of the month. But that was time that took 5 hours basically of us being able to put it into other podcasts that are established. So if we can hit 1,000 with that handicap, basically,
Yeah.
shit, man. And also, I mean, really, you also got to look at a slice of dice essentially being a handicap as well, because this month we've put in probably 6 fucking hours, 7 hours of recording into
How
that.
many episodes do you guys have?
Well, so far we have 2, but the second one was fucking almost 4 hours, and the first one was like 2.5. So, because the first one was us just rolling the characters. So that was like our intro. We talked about, you know, our past histories in D&D and, you know, just tabletop gaming in general. And we introduced sort of like the campaign that we're going to start playing with D&D.
Right.
And then, you know, we also introduced about how, oh, we're going to also do the Warhammer tabletop one. And we're also going to do the Warhammer war game. Like once we get some of the shit for that, which will probably be 6 months from now, but you know, whatever, once we get it, we'll start doing that shit as well on there. So that was that episode. And then we rolled the characters that me and Ruben are going to play as. And then now we've got the second episode, which was us playing the first, I think it was like 3.5 hours. We played the first 3.5 hours of the Horde of the Dragon Queen campaign. And now this next episode is going to be another 3 to 4 hours of us playing that. So by the time it's all said and done, that'll probably have eaten 15 hours of time that we could have really spent making other podcasts that are established. So if we can hit the goal of getting 1,000 in a month with still having that handicap of doing podcasts that A, aren't even out, and B, are essentially not established, so they're not going to really be giving us numbers like, I mean, All Gas No Trash does fucking great numbers. I mean, shit, out of that 400, I think All Gas No Trash is like 160 of it. So
Shit, maybe June's not. I mean, May's not the month to think we'll do 1,000. I think June will, because we'll have new podcasts they'll be out there.
Yeah.
And I think if we don't reach 1,000 this month, maybe we'll reach 1,200. It's like we're trading off not getting 1,000 for this month and maybe even getting a little bit higher, because we'll have more new podcasts to throw out and share. And I think it'll maybe work out better that way. We'll have, I don't know. I think we're just not, I don't know if we're going to make it for this month, but fuck, if all the new podcasts come out and people like it, dude, I think we're in for a real treat for June for sure.
oh yeah, for sure. And that's what I'm saying is if we somehow get to 1,000, hell, if we even get to 905 with the handicap of basically spending 20 hours of recording time this month or 21 hours ish doing shit that's not even out and is not established yet. If we can do that just off of the work we've done here, oh man, we're definitely in for fucking hitting 1,000 for June for sure. So, and like I said, that 904 is seeming like a fluke. So even if we cut out, you know, basically 100 of that number and we say it's 800, I think we're definitely going to surpass that. And I'd even be happy with that, because again, that number was inflated by that wrestling episode, which is inexplainable how it got that. So I'd rather see consistency in the numbers than, oh yeah, once in a while we get like a huge spike. I'd rather see a consistent 50 downloads off the gate per episode than just seeing one time we got 100 and then it goes back down to, you know, 10 or 20 or whatever the number is. So, and I don't know. I that's why I like doing the BFN show, because we get to talk about this shit. And it's the transparency of where everyone else on the internet that does podcasts never talks about this shit. I've never heard anyone else. And I'm sure I'm sure it's not original. I'm sure that other people have talked about it, but at least with all the major ones, I haven't heard shit about what kind of numbers they do or anything like that. It's all just guesswork as to what you're assuming they do. And at least with us, we can give you the bare, we're transparent and we give you the numbers. And hell, if you want to start your own shit, at least, and you want to maybe try to do it differently than everyone else, well, hell, we're telling you how our model works and how that does it. And anybody can take this model and utilize it. Anybody can take this from us. It's not like this is copywritten, the model that we have. Yeah, don't take our fucking names. We own those shits. But you could do this business model that we've set up of doing this podcast network and segmenting the audience into niche targets and doing what we do. you can do that all you want. Hell, you could even steal our names, but you got to do content that's better than ours. And if you can't do that, then, well, you ain't going to do shit. So, but yeah, I think that doing this and being open about it is the way to go. And hell, if it's not interesting to anybody, at least it's interesting to us to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, if this podcast is not satiating your need for podcasts, and I know this one is, I think, becoming just the meta podcast for us to talk about the podcast that we do, plus our own personal lives, then that's cool. I mean, if anything, for sure, what it does for me is it serves as transparency and accountability for ourselves. And it's just you guys get to have a peek through the window, I suppose, or a peek through the curtains of how things work. And we're talking about our own struggles and our own personal triumphs, and even the company at large is what I think it means to do this podcast. So if you like listening to that shit, I mean, if you listen this far, I mean, you must find it interesting, and maybe even have your own aspirations of doing your own podcast, and maybe you can do everything opposite of us to do a little bit better.
Yeah, true. And hell, if you got an idea for a podcast, but you don't want to, and it's one that we don't have, and you want to maybe possibly come onto our network and do it, that's one of our goals, is to have someone host a podcast on our network that's not us. Mm-hmm. So hell, hit us up. Maybe we'll be interested in fucking doing something and putting on our network, and possibly, helping you help us, and we will help you as much as we can. So shit. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But anyways, now I know that turned into like 30 minutes of me bitching about stuff and complaining. But how was your week this week? How have you been? Let's hear you.
Let me think. So I had a relative that I haven't seen come over, or that we interacted for the first time, and who the fuck knows how long, because he's a absent figure when it comes to family gatherings, and even that is. The appearances have been negligible, but this is the first time I'd seen this person in a hot minute. And the first thing he tells me is the typical, "Hey, how's it going? And you look like you gained weight." So I don't know what it is about Mexicans' families that just, and maybe it might just be families in general, that they always got to knock you down a peg for some reason. And I've never done that with my nephews, or I've never done that with my nieces, to do harm to their ego or their own personal sense of self-worth or things like that. I think what my theory is, I hate to throw my own family under the bus, but fuck it. This is the Butt Fuck Nowhere show, and I don't want to censor myself about the reality of family itself. But I think my grandmother did some damage to possibly all my aunts and all my uncles in some regard. Because from the stories that I've heard about her, and I will, I guess, censor myself in some regard, I think she was a bit on the cruel side. And I think that rubbed off on my aunts and uncles in some way. I think my uncles have a knack for making backhanded compliments or backhanded comments to us when we've never really done anything to them. I mean, for my siblings to be young themselves at one point, and now that we're older, that they're still doing that, it just speaks to the fact that maybe they haven't matured or have grown up in some way. I mean, yeah, they are in a adult body, and they may have matured mentally, or their brain has matured or aged, but there's still some things there's kinks in their autonomy or even their mental wellness that they're still doling out fucking stupid shit like that. And I don't know if I was going to get violent, but I almost brought up some dirt about his family, because he has a secret wife or secret girlfriend that he hasn't brought her around, and my grandma has passed away. So he really doesn't have a reason to hide her, because my grandma didn't like Salvadorians or Hondurans or Central Americans in general. And I don't know why that is. I think my grandma just came up in a very ignorant time that, Mexicans at that time had a weird perspective about other people. And that was my theory of why he didn't bring her around. But this guy has his own wife or girlfriend. We don't really know, but he has a whole family and he lives in another part of LA. So he has his family in one part of LA and he himself has his own part where he can just reside, take refuge from his secret family that we don't know anything about. We don't know how many kids he has or anything like that. So, and I was just having a conversation with my parents about why he does things like that. And I think this is part of the problem within myself, that I have enough discipline or restraint not to go after somebody when they do something like that. But that also is a double-edged sword, because when I think I should speak up for myself and say something back, I end up holding my tongue because I think I should take the high road. But this is the time I really felt like I wanted to go after somebody. And I think there's going to be a boiling point for myself where I'm just going to unload on everybody, where I'm going to just like we have a receipts channel within our Discord. I have receipts on a lot of people that I've been waiting to dole out. And I don't know how that's going to manifest, but so far it's been kept under the surface. And I was very close to doing something about this for this particular situation. And my parents are like, it's not really worth throwing away, saying something stupid or saying something back to them when this guy has no legs to stand on because of his own personal life. That's what it kind of came down to. And I just said, no, I think this is the perfect time to get petty about, because he always does this shit and I want to make him pay one day. So what do you got to say about that?
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. And to speak on the plight of his side with the girlfriend, I don't know why if your grandma didn't listen. I think all of our grandmas and grandpas were somehow racist in some way. I mean, it's
ignorant more than anything.
Right. It was due to ignorance. I mean, but it still could be considered racist nonetheless. I mean, my grandpa didn't like Koreans. And like when I was dating that South Korea girl from high school.
Did he say something?
Oh, yeah. He was just like, oh, these are goddamn Koreans. Like he's just talking shit about it. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can't bring her around anymore. Or like, well, not anymore. But, you got to throw that out there to test the waters, because you don't want to, bring somebody into an obviously hostile thing. And then what was ironic about that was like her parents hated white people. So fucking she did have no bones about me bringing around them. And dude, man, it was the worst, because like my grandpa would do that to me too. Not him, but the other grandpa. He would be like, oh, it looks like you've gained a little weight. Like he'd say shit like that. And dude, her fucking mom and her dad, like they didn't speak English that well, but man, they would do the same shit. They'd be like, oh, hey, Josh, gaining pound? Gaining pound? No, not gaining pound. Oh, look like gaining pound. Eat lots of rice. You like eat. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck, man? Why you calling me fat? Like I'm not that fat. Like what the fuck's wrong with you? Well, back then at least I wasn't. And so it does make you want to fucking just yell and be like, oh, look at you. Oh, bring up the dirt about them. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, your son's a shitbag. Oh, he fucking does this. He does all this bullshit. And oh, yet you don't have nothing to say about that, but you want to tell me how I'm fat? Oh, okay, all right. Well, sure, go ahead. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? So now, I mean, listen, my grandpa grew up during the Korean War times, and sure, she was South Korean, which was, they were on our side. Like I don't know why. Like it didn't register to me as to why that like hatred was there, but. Now, more that I think about it, as I look back on the past, I mean, her family might have actually been North Korean spies. I really think that's probably true. But, I don't have any evidence to prove that. But you know what? Nobody knows who the fuck she is. So fuck off. You can't prove it either way. You can't prove it otherwise. You can't prove it false. So fuck you too. But I do have that, like the receipts, man. Like, I can't wait. I can't wait until we can do the receipts episode and we can cash those receipts in and just start naming names and just start saying shit about all the people that have motherfucked us and not even openly motherfucked us, but didn't even have the courtesy to at least motherfuck us, just straight ignore us or just fucking nope, or promise things and then not deliver. Oh man, I can't fucking wait. I can't wait to go through with that. But yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Like my grandpa used to tell me all the time, like, oh you look like you've gained a little weight there, Josh. Oh, oh, and then have to do the belly rub like I'm the Buddha or some shit. Like, fuck off, don't touch me. Like, get the fuck out of here. I hate that shit, man. And it's one thing that sucks is, yeah, I've got the discipline and the I don't know what it's called. Maybe just discipline.
Self-restraint.
Yeah, the self-restraint and the discipline to not unload on that dude. But it pisses me off because it's like, oh, I have the self-restraint and discipline to do that, but not the self-restraint and discipline to not eat to be fat. All right. Like, it pisses me the fuck off. Why can't I just go off on this guy? I clearly don't have the discipline to not be fat. So why can't I just have the discipline to just yell at him and just call him an asshole? And just, at least then I would be satisfied, I feel like. Because to me, it's like, who cares about this relationship? Like,
yeah, dude.
At this point, fuck him. Like,
yeah, that's what it kind of boils down to me is what you haven't been around anyway. So there's nothing really for me to lose other than I get scolded about something I said that they'll probably forget about in a week or two. Or I don't think I'll get disowned or anything like that. But I'm starting to see where the character flaws within my parents and how they've translated to myself. Some of the things that I see in myself, I don't know. I just, you swallow, what do you call it? Maybe your pride, or you swallow your pride, or there's something about preserving what I would call diplomacy amongst the family, that you swallow something like that where somebody takes a jab at you so that it doesn't provoke more problems for everybody else, because you want to keep everything copacetic. Or
yeah.
And that's kind of what it's been for 10, 20 years, or who knows, maybe more. But everything's on the surface and everybody's just waiting. And I almost did it. I almost fucking did it. And I could live with that. For some reason, I can live with that. I can live with if people don't want to talk to each other, because there's nothing for me to lose. There's nothing for me to lose if I lose these relationships, because I almost want to say I don't even care what they do, because they have there's no contribution on their end, and nor me to them, that this is going to impact my life at all, because everything we're doing as far as podcasting goes, there's nothing that is going to affect what we do, basically. Yeah,
but pretty much. I mean, they have no power over us. Our enemies have no power over us when it comes to this. And that's the one thing that's great about it is we don't give a shit. Sure, you want to talk shit or say things. God, I honestly hope we get into some feud with somebody, because God, that would help us so much. You know, getting into a feud with someone who's bigger than us. And who cares if we started it? Like, no one's going to remember who started it at the end of it. They're just going to remember who was involved. And sure, whether they listened or they didn't, just to hear the tea or the scoop or whatever the fuck it is. But I don't know, man. I agree with you. I think it's bullshit, and fuck these people, especially the family members too, because it's like, that's who you're supposed to be supporting you no matter what, right? And that's the thing that I've always said about, man, blood doesn't mean shit anymore, man. It doesn't. I know we talked about the bloodline and say shit, but like, that doesn't mean anything, man. It means nothing nowadays, because shit, just because you're related to me doesn't mean you actually even like me, or that you give two shits about me, or you want to care about me, because you could be you could hate me and we're related. And it's like, well, fuck you, man. Like, that doesn't mean shit to me. Blood is thicker than water. My ass.
Yeah, and I think some people are under the delusion that you have to maintain the integrity of the family, because that's what's best for everybody, is that we all stick together even if we hate each other. And I could not disagree more. I think a lot of people can fall to the wayside if there's not a mutually beneficial relationship on both ends.
Yeah, true.
So
and goddamn God help you if you throw money in the mix too, because then that screws everything up even worse.
Yeah,
because it's like Jerry Lawler says, yeah, blood may be thicker than money, but money is thicker than, or no, blood's thicker than water, but money's thicker than blood. Like, you know, and he's not wrong.
Yeah, if anything, it's cool to vent about it on this podcast, because if we end up going anywhere, when I get paid because I I said something stupid or mentioned this topic, if I get to make money off of it, fuck yeah, this is great, dude. That'll be my revenge.
Yeah, that's our revenge, is getting paid to use our mouths in a non-sexual way. All right, like
hey, nothing's off the table. I didn't say I wouldn't.
I mean, neither did I. Listen, I think I've said many times I'd blow whoever to get fucking money for this. I don't give a fuck. Like, it's shit. You know, I'll take one. I'll take a shot in the mouth to get some fucking publicity or some notoriety.
Yeah. And then for the rest of the week, I slacked off. I took a CPR class that took like 2 or 3 hours, and I wrote a 5-star review, and I feel like I came away learning less than what I did when I did it last time.
Damn.
And not that anything has really changed as far as CPR, because it's mostly the same, but I think this guy was really phoning it in. I just wanted to get out of there as quick as possible to, get paid for the day and shit. So that was kind of funny, and that kind of burned me out, because you just sit there and watch old videos and just dumb shit, and yeah, you get your chest compressions in and shit, but I was mentally checking out as we were, and I only missed one question on the quiz you end up taking to get the certification or whatever, but and then what day? Oh, Thursday. Good old buddy Gallo from formerly of the Fox Theater Pomona asked if I wanted to go check out the new venue that he was I think he took a part in as far as renovating the place, but it's this place called the Union, and it used to be a YMCA center, I guess, but the thing got what do you call it? Not retrofitted, but it got renovated, and now the whole thing is brand new, but it still has some of the aspects of the building in its original form. And I gotta say, the building's fucking sweet. It's really cool to see. And when you walk in, you have to walk into the left hallway or left portion in order to get to the venue. Mm-hmm. And it's got these cool it's got a half circle, so it's on the long side, these cool stained glass windows, and it runs along the long side of the building, and then the flooring is, I imagine it's the original flooring of the space, because it's basketball, the wood floors for basketball.
Okay.
And this shit looks exactly, probably, I mean, fuck, they look old as fuck, because they weren't what do you call it? They weren't varnished or anything. And I'm just like, this has got to be the original flooring for the place. But I saw a couple of bands play there, and it was recorded sessions and stuff, and it's the soft opening for what I imagine will be this new venue where all this new music is going to come through. So it was really cool to check out, and it was kind of funny because when I saw him, he was talking to people, so I was just kind of standing around like an idiot and taking photos and pretending I'm busy. But he came up to me, and we just talked for a bit, and I have this fucking long ass tube, and I just got down on one knee as if I were a knight and fucking gave him this long tube, and it was the poster from the St. Vincent show that I had given him. And he gave me this really interesting story about somebody that the timing was fucking weird, dude, because this has been happening a lot, where just weird timing, weird synchronicities, affirmations, whatever you want to call it. But what are the odds that this guy would tell me a story about Steve Albini, the producer, and the guy that had a band called Black Dog, and I forgot what the other one was, but I gave him the St. Vincent poster because I have a feeling that he's just somebody that has an affinity for music in whatever form that may be, and that could be potentially poster art. So I gave him the poster, and he says, "You know what's funny, man? I wasn't that big of a fan of St. Vincent until she did a cover of this song called Kerosene from Black Dog." And he's Steve Albini was the guy that produced the album In Utero from fucking Nirvana. So that was like the last album they ended up doing, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know, just when you give stuff to people, or if you're just in a giving spirit, man, sometimes you get some weird shit coming back your way. So him telling me that story, and the fact that he's friends with Steve Albini, or was friends with Steve Albini, he was going to be flying out to Chicago to go to his funeral and everything. It's just so weird that just this object ended up being the thing that triggered that fucking memory. I mean, what do you got?
That's pretty interesting. And it's funny because, like you said, sometimes you give shit and sometimes you get some shit back, and then sometimes you get absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that, hey, at the very least, you at least got a story to talk about, on one of the podcasts or multiple of the podcasts. Who knows? Because I'm sure, obviously, if you want to hear the whole St. Vincent thing, you can go listen to the 2 episodes about it on All Gas No Trash.
Yes.
But I'm sure this story will get even deeper on. I'm sure it'll be told on All Gas No Trash. So I mean, shit, you got two different podcasts worth of content about it. I mean, shit, at the very least, and then you got that cool story. So even if it turns into nothing, that's at least something.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about, and I don't know if these people like me talking about them, but I almost don't give a shit because I feel as though talking about these things is oral history. So we're preserving it in some way. And if people don't talk about people like, Jose Galvan or Galo Galvan, that their history is basically omitted from history itself. When somebody's not taking the time to break things down or talk about things, I feel that is an omission of history itself. So whether these people don't like it or they do, I don't really give a fuck because I'm going to do it anyways because I think they got some cool stories to talk about. And maybe I don't really want to hear about Steve Albini all the time or fucking Kurt Cobain. Maybe we should talk about people that started a movement or, the lesser known figures that have big contributions. And I don't know, it just makes me think about history. We're living it, and you can document it if you want to. And in some ways, man, doing all these podcasts, it's a time capsule. It's a bit of our own history being encapsulated in a 1 hour episode of whatever the fuck we do.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny too, because like on All Gas No Trash, I don't know if they like listening to it or not, but I can tell you for a fact, there's a lot of downloads that come out of Southern California, which is where this whole shit's happening, right? So I'm sure that's not just coming from them listening or whatever, but it's people within their own industry listening to us and hearing these stories, and whether they love them or they hate them, they listen.
Yeah,
there's not a goddamn thing they can do about it. As that what's his name? That bowler,
Pete Weber.
Yeah, it's a great fucking quote. Like it's true because people are still listening about it. So whether even the person we're talking about likes it or doesn't like it, guess what? People are still listening. And they're continuing to listen in record numbers. So, hey, we're going to still keep talking about it.
Yeah.
So,
other than that, just enjoyed the experience of checking out this new venue and many blessings. Best wishes to that shit doing well because it'd be cool to see some great bands play there. And I don't know if I have anything else to. If I end up forgetting anything, I'll just bring it up on All Gas No Trash. We could talk about it more extensively. But
yeah,
as far as like personal stuff goes, man, I'm as we've talked about previously, I'm extremely motivated to get to 1,000 streams across all our podcasts, and I think my personal health is kind of been put to the wayside. I haven't exactly been binge eating, but let's say I've been eating an unsavory amount of foods or unhealthy foods. And I think it'll be a massive blow to my ego if we don't get to 1,000. So this is the one thing I'm hinging upon is that the success. If there's going to be one thing that goes right in my life, it has to be this shit.
Yeah, I agree. Everything else could be burning down around me, but as long as this is the one shining pillar of continued success, that's all I care about. I don't care about anything else. If something goes wrong, cool. I don't care. As long as this is going good, I can get over it. I can move on from some shit that's going sideways. If the game rage shit is continuing forward and progressing at a steady rate. So, Yeah, fuck, man. I think I might have to rechange the name of this episode to The Quest for 1,000 because we didn't even talk about fucking merit versus nepotism at all.
All right,
really.
we could save that for the next
Yeah.
time we do a BFN thing.
Yeah, that'll be the next episode. So I'll just change the name of this one to The Quest for 1,000 because that was probably the main focus that we talked about the most, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And I got one more thing to bring up,
Well,
and this I'm going to talk about it the way I just want to.
Yeah, do it.
I was weary about doing an interview that we were supposed to have on Saturday.
Mhm.
I think it's something I was vocal about.
Correct.
When we considered this person,
Mhm.
and deep down, I didn't want to fucking do it. I think I told you, and I felt that way. I didn't want to do it, and this person was wishy-washy pretty much throughout the entire process, and I wasn't the person that was reaching out to I wasn't the point person for this. You were the person that was doing that. So I from the beginning I felt like this wasn't going to happen, and it ended up falling through anyways. And I have to say, honestly, couldn't be happier because it already felt as though this was not something that was important. It wasn't important to the other person. They didn't see it as entertaining, or maybe not even interesting. Whatever the case might be, it's the Drew McIntyre thing. I wish for this to happen, and it did.
Burger after burger after burger. And, it's funny because I had been trying to set this up for probably a couple of months, and it just, I get it. Everybody's got their own shit going on and their own issues with life. So it's like, I understand this is not important to them. And I get that. And I'm not necessarily blaming anyone for this, but I am saying that this is one of those, I'll call it the synchronicity, or that, I don't know, like a sign as like, okay, this probably shouldn't have gone off. This shouldn't have happened. It wasn't meant to be. There you go. That's the thing. And like I said, man, just the lack of response is, to be expected, but it's like, cool. I set a date. And then, like 2 or 3 days before, something came up and we had to I was going to have to reschedule it. And so as soon as we found out that this was going to have to need to be rescheduled, immediately communicated that and said, hey, this is going to need to be rescheduled, and got literally no response for 24 hours. And then basically the response to that was over like the next day, basically just a dislike, just the dislike thing. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, not, oh, hey, cool, let me know, like, because I had said, oh, I'll let you know when we can reset. Not, okay, cool, hey, not a big deal. Just, and then haven't heard shit since. So it's like, all right, fine, fuck it. I'm over it. Like, this is not going to happen. This wasn't meant to be, and we're just going to leave it. We're just going to leave it at where it's at. And sure, maybe it's something we can explore later down the line, potentially with someone else, or, maybe if this individual comes back and starts actually showing interest and really wanted to do it, then all right, cool. Maybe we'll talk about it. But at this point, it's like, nah, fuck it. I'm over it. I've already fucking blown this out. Moving on to the next. Who else is in the docket? Who else is in the queue, that we could potentially get?
I'll give a bit of a teaser. Shit, maybe I'll save it for the next podcast. But we do have somebody potentially lined up for Without Censor, possibly by the end of the month leading into June. But fuck, man, where do we throw? I think we might have to tease that on another podcast.
Yeah. No, that's the next one we're gonna do. Chirping from the Pine. We're gonna tease it on there. So if you want to hear about it, if who we have pretty much, like 80% of the way lined up, maybe, I don't know. We got a commitment of it, but who knows if that'll actually happen?
Yeah, who knows? Once I ask if they can sign a lease of
release of
liability.
Yeah, who knows what they're gonna say? But again, this person's in an industry where that's commonplace if you're gonna be on things, so I don't see why they'd have a problem doing it. But I guess we'll find out. So if you want to hear who that person is, go listen to the newest episode of Chirping from the Pine, and we'll reveal it on that episode on that podcast.
Yeah, what are we at in terms of time?
58 and a half minutes. So, I mean, we're pretty much, at the hour mark almost. So,
okay. Yeah, I just got to say, shit, man. I am pretty proud as far as all the things we've done for 2024. I know it's only the month of May, but shit, man, the weeks have gone by relatively quickly when you keep your head down and you got shit to do. So it's been cool to feel productive and feel like this year hasn't gone to waste. It's been. I can't wait to see what the end of the year, what kind of results we're gonna have.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of actual hours and episodes, I think this month is going to be the highest we've ever fucking done. I just have a feeling that this month is going to be the highest amount of episodes that we have released, and it's definitely going to be the highest amount of episodes that we've fucking created for sure, and hours wise as well. So, you know, I'm pretty stoked on it, and I'm proud of it, because either way, that's one thing no one can fucking take away from us, is the fact that at least up until April 30th, we had made 252 or 232 and a half hours of content for 152 episodes, man. No one can take that. No one can say that we haven't done work, because I defy you to show me another podcast, anything that has done that amount of work in a span of 10 months, basically. I defy you to show that, because I don't think it exists. So minimally, we've done the work. Hell, show me a podcast that's putting out 30 fucking hours a month and 23 fucking episodes. You won't find that either. So get fucked. All right.
Get fucked.
That's all I have to say. What a great way to end the episode.
I felt like I had one more thing to say, but I lost it. So
damn, sorry.
Not worth even bringing up at this point.
Yeah, true story. Anyways, all right. Well, that's the end of the episode, I guess. Yeah, you got anything else to say or add that you can remember at the moment?
No, I'm good.
All right. So, anyways, yeah, go check out all of our other shit. GameRageMagazine.com, at Game Rage Magazine on the social medias. If you want to follow Adam specifically and All Gas No Trash, you can go to All Gas No Trash Official on all the social media. Oh, it's just on Instagram. So at All Gas No Trash Official, no fucking anything. And if you want to follow, I should have done this at the beginning. I keep fucking forgetting. If you want to follow Millennial Frog has a new Instagram account at Millennial Frog Official, because some asshole already had at Millennial Frog, and it's some dipshit that doesn't do anything related to millennials or frogs.
No underscore, no thing.
Nothing. It's just Millennial Frog. I stole from All Gas No Trash Official. I was like,
that's what everybody else does.
Yeah, this is Millennial Frog Official, and that'll be it. So you can follow Millennial Frog at Millennial Frog Official and see all of his millennial memes and bullshit that he puts out. So, anyways, all right. Well, that's the end of the episode. So thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one. This has been the Butt Fuck Nowhere Show. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. Also on Twitter /X at Game Rage Mag. Also visit our website, www.GameRageMagazine.com, for a host of other podcasts and more. Thanks for listening.